Hi there, everyone. Welcome to another exciting and informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkinson, turning the pages for you throughout this exciting half-hour journey. Coming up on the pages, the link between diabetes and heart disease, plus much more. You don't want to miss any of it, so sit back and relax. We return right after this break.
Have you seen any of these signs and are ready to buy land or property? Want to know who is the legal owner? Purchase a copy of the title using eLand Jamaica. With eLand Jamaica, you can do a title search and verify the owner of the property, ensuring they have the legal right to sell it. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at www.nla.gov.jm, via telephone at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. Email asknla@nla.gov.jm or message us on WhatsApp at 876-418-5089. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal to serve you better.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Monday, February 9, 2026. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams has welcomed international rating agency Fitch, affirming Jamaica's international credit ratings. On Thursday, Fitch Ratings Agency affirmed the government of Jamaica's long-term foreign currency and local currency issuer default rating, IDR, at BB- and maintained the outlook at stable. In explaining the ratings action, Fitch pointed to the government's continued commitment to maintaining macroeconomic stability while managing one of the most severe natural disasters to affect Jamaica in recent history. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa's estimated damage of $8.8 billion or 40% of GDP, the rating agency projects a temporary economic contraction of 1.5% in 2025 and 2.6% in 2026. Despite the challenges, Fitch indicates that its stable outlook for Jamaica is based on the country's robust financial preparedness, underscored by a multi-layered risk management framework and substantial expected private insurance inflows. The agency has also highlighted Jamaica's responsible fiscal response in enacting temporary suspension of the fiscal responsibility law to accommodate urgent reconstruction costs. While this means fiscal balances are forecast to swing into deficit in the 2025-2026 fiscal year, primary surpluses are expected to resume in the 2027 fiscal year, aligning with the government's target to reduce debt to GDP levels toward 60%. Fitch has indicated that it believes the government will remain committed to its fiscal framework and will actively seek to reduce its debt burden once reconstruction efforts are achieved. Minister Williams says this is indeed the commitment of the government. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF has established a Specialized Investigation Branch SIB as part of the organization's ongoing modernization and transformation agenda. In a release, the Police High Command says the SIB will be placed under the Crime and Security portfolio and will replace and reorganize several elite investigative formations. These include the Fraud Squad and Financial Crimes Investigation Division, the National Strategic Anti-Gang Division, and the Stolen Motor Vehicle Unit. The SIB also brings together the Jamaica Fugitive Apprehension Team and the Legal and Quality Management Unit. Also being reorganized is the Transnational Crime Investigation Division, which deals with trafficking in persons, intellectual property crime, a kidnapping unit, and the Special Investigation Unit. The JCF says consolidating these units under a single command structure will enhance coordination, improve operational efficiency, strengthen oversight, and deliver a more synchronized and intelligence-led response to organized and transnational crime. The objective is to strengthen investigative capacity, address structural weaknesses, and close operational gaps. The branch will also reinforce institutional integrity within the force, particularly in relation to complex, high-risk, and sensitive criminal investigations. Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs Delroy Chuck has tabled a concept paper in the House of Representatives to guide the development of a national policy on alternative dispute resolution (ADR). The paper, Titled Advancing Justice Through Alternative Dispute Resolution, a National Policy for Jamaica, outlines the government's plans to expand access to alternative methods of resolving disputes. Minister Chuck says this is important as conflicts among neighbors, families, and communities are contributing to crime and violence.
It therefore reinforces the need for greater early intervention in conflicts through the use of alternative mechanisms such as arbitration, mediation, restorative justice, conciliation, adjudication, negotiations, and the establishment of justice centers to facilitate dispute resolution options.
He asserts that alternative dispute resolution complements the work of the security forces and helps to reduce the number of cases that go before the courts.
We must change the mindset of our people in how we resolve conflicts, recognizing that there are other meaningful and legally acceptable alternatives to fighting it out. ADR can be a critical driver in achieving social harmony.
The Justice Minister adds that a national ADR policy will strengthen access to justice, support crime reduction, and improve efficiency across the justice system. He is encouraging the public to review the concept paper and provide feedback. Copies are available on the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs and Parliament of Jamaica websites. The National Housing Trust, NHT, says it is still accepting peril insurance claims from mortgagors who were affected by Hurricane Melissa, even though the January 15 deadline has passed. The agency reveals that it has received approximately 2,200 claims. The majority of these are from St. James, followed by Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. Assistant General Manager for Corporate Communications and Public Affairs, Dwayne Burbick, says that in the past 2 weeks, the NHT has received over 400 claims. He is urging affected mortgagors to submit their claims as soon as possible.
With that data indicating that mortgagors continue to apply, the NHT has extended the deadline for submission of peril insurance claims. There is a date that we're working with. I'm not going to say it just yet. We're willing, I will say though, to be as accommodating as possible with the individuals who are not in a position to immediately and are still just trying to get themselves a little bit more settled before they're able to take that on.
According to Mr. Burbick, the 2,200 claims received so far are valued at $4 billion, and the NHT has assessed half of those claims.
The NHT has sought to improve that wait period for processing by putting more boots on the ground in terms of assessors, using a combination of assessors that the NHT has engaged professionally and using also our project officers. But the volume is quite significant, and that is the truth.
Mr. Burbick was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. And finally, 64 students in state care have been recognized for academic excellence after passing 4 or more subjects in the 2025 CSEC and CAPE exams. Of the awardees, 62 earned CSEC passes and 2 succeeded at the CAPE level. The awards were recognized by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA, during its 14th annual Educational Achievement Awards ceremony hosted recently at the Terra Nova All-Suite Hotel in Kingston. CPFSA's Executive Director, Laurette Adams-Thomas, praised the students' perseverance, highlighting that their circumstances did not define their potential.
What matters more than anything else is the mindset that you carry and the standards that you set for yourselves. In many ways, today's achievements reflect not only the efforts of the students themselves, but also the consistent support of all the adults who stood with them, believed in them, and refused to give up on them.
Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, encouraged the awardees to remain resilient, maintain high standards, and stay disciplined as they pursue future success.
Greatness is built when you show up. Just showing up is an act of greatness. And especially when you show up on time. There's much more for you to do. This is just the start. And when you get this award, it means that we're expecting even more greatness coming out from you. And so I want you to continue to move forward on this journey. This is just one leg.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The shadows of October 28, 2025 still linger, the aftermath of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The powerful system made landfall in Jamaica, leaving a trail of devastation across the island. While every parish felt its force, the western end bore the brunt of the storm. Many residents are still without homes, vital infrastructure has been wiped out, and communities are struggling to rebuild. As a nation, we're all picking up the pieces together. Let us continue to stand united and support recovery efforts by donating through the country's official disaster relief and recovery portal at supportjamaica.gov.jm.
Every child can learn and every child must is a core educational philosophy of the government. And with effective teaching and learning strategies, students are certain to succeed. We now turn the pages for some tips to help students learn and ensure their success at exams.
School can be exciting, but it also comes with challenges, deadlines, exams, and the constant push to do well. Staying ahead of the learning curve means having the right strategies to stay focused, prepared, and motivated all term long. We sat down with Vice Principal of Warrant Bay High, Marsha Ford Bryan, who shared practical advice on how students can boost their performance and avoid burnout.
It is super important that they stay organized. Once you are organized, then it will eliminate levels of fluster, and it will increase your chances of grasping the content that you need to grasp, and it will allow for you to easily go through the term feeling less flustered, feeling as if you can achieve, and it gives some level of self-motivation and focus on what is important. And it will definitely assist students in achieving their goals and objectives that they need to set out at the start of the school term.
One of the biggest challenges for students is managing time effectively. Creating a study plan, setting realistic goals, and using tools like planners or apps can make a world of difference.
So my years of experience have taught me that if students read over their notes once they go home and not wait until the appointed time, for example, when exams are upon them, then of course it will allow for them to pace themselves and eliminate cramming or swatting. So reading over the notes immediately after you go home and re-emphasizing some key points, this will allow for you to gradually gain the understanding of the content, and then you won't feel so flustered. That for me definitely works, and I've seen wherein students who practice this, it works for them.
Whether it's the Pomodoro technique, reviewing notes daily, or breaking down big assignments into smaller tasks, small habits lead to big results.
Setting goal is not only for students, it's for everyone. It is so important. You know exactly where your trajectory is. You know where you're going. Without goals, you are moving aimlessly. So it is very important. I say to students, write it down. Usually when you write something down, it is meaningful. For those of us who are in the technology age, then you voice it, you record it, and you repeat that to yourself. And that keeps you steadfast. Just in case you might forget it. You have it written down or you have it recorded. And that is a reminder of you reminding yourself, and that has greater impact than even someone else reminding you of what you said. And repetition is very important. You can set up vision boards, for example, And that gives you a vivid picture as to what your outcome is likely to be in a picture format. And you can see your mission, you see your vision, and you see your objectives.
But staying ahead isn't just about studying harder. It's about maintaining balance. Stress and burnout can quickly derail progress if students aren't careful.
Some students are of the opinion that when we talk about content and asking them to do a study timetable, for example, it must only entail academics. I say to students, you have the opportunity to also plan and interject in your study timetable things that you enjoy doing. Because once your mind is relaxed, then definitely once you are studying, you will be grasping more. So once they are crafting their study timetable, ensure that they interject playtime, relaxation time, and know yourself too. There are some students who definitely cannot study for 2-hour blocks. Then don't stretch yourself there. You have to understand how you operate first and foremost. If it is that you can only manage to retain what you are studying for half an hour or 35 minutes, then you make your blocks in your study timetable to fit just to that.
Here are some tips.
Relaxation is very important. Utilize music if it works for you. Utilize your walks. And persons find it difficult to understand how exercise actually works, but it relaxes you. And if you can go on your treadmill or you can walk around your block for 10 minutes at least, it refreshes the mind and it gets you relaxed and you go right back into your content. But you have to know your body. You have to understand how you operate, because no two persons operate in the same manner. So we have to understand our body. Eat right. If you realize that you are not eating, this can't be healthy if you're studying and not eating properly. Get your fluids in and hydrate yourself.
Success also comes from taking ownership of learning, being proactive and consistent. And while parents and teachers play an important role, students must drive their own growth.
Preventing heart attacks and strokes starts with simple routine steps in our daily lives. Stay active. Aim for at least 30 minutes of exercise each day. Eat a balanced diet with more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and avoid foods high in salts, sugar, and fats. Maintain a healthy weight and avoid smoking. Manage your stress, cholesterol, and blood pressure, and get regular checkups with your doctor.
Cardiovascular disease is one of the top causes of death in Jamaica and globally. As we continue to increase public awareness in our observation of February as Heart Month, our next feature explores the risk faced by persons with diabetes and how to minimize them.
Diabetes is a common illness. Most of us may be aware of its various complications, such as diabetic retinopathy and neuropathy, diabetic kidney disease, and so on. But when it comes to deaths caused from diabetes, cardiovascular complications account for the majority. Diabetes is recognized as one of 4 major factors for developing cardiovascular disease, the others being hypertension, obesity, and cigarette smoking.
About 68% of persons over the age of 65, and this is data now from the American Heart Association, 65% of persons over the age of 65 who have diabetes will die from heart disease, and about another 16% will die of stroke.
Before we take a look at how to manage or even prevent cardiovascular complications of diabetes, let us look at how persons come to develop the disease.
In a nutshell, what generally happens is that diabetic persons have a more rapid rate at which fat and cholesterol is deposited in the arterial system. So we all have that. It's considered part of the process of aging. Fat and cholesterol is being laid down in our arteries. However, diabetic persons tend to have that happen at a more rapid rate. Okay? And as a result of that, what tends to happen is that diabetic persons will progress to a point where they have compromised vessels. So in other words, the lumen, the diameter of the vessel, is narrowed, the flow of blood is limited.
And as the heart muscles become starved of blood, various acids accumulate and persons will tend to experience what is called angina, or a type of chest pain.
You may get complete blockage of the vessel, which may now result in what is called a heart attack.
Heart tissues are not meant to function in an environment where the blood sugar level is elevated. And so, another incidence of diabetic cardiovascular complication results where high blood sugar levels in persons who are diabetic becomes directly toxic to heart cells. This impairs the ability of blood vessels to open normally under conditions of stress, such as exercise, and also causes inflammation and impaired clotting of the blood.
So if they are chronically exposed to those levels of elevated blood sugars, then there are biochemical consequences. There's weakness of the heart muscle, and patients, many of them, go on to developing heart failure and so on.
The diagnosis of cardiovascular complications is more difficult in diabetics, where the symptoms appear unclear or may be different from the non-diabetic patient. Take, for example, a non-diabetic person with, say, coronary heart disease.
Generally, they will say, well, look, doc, I felt pressing pain to the center of my chest. It's moving down my left arm. It comes on with activity. It stops when I stop engaging in whatever activity. It feels like a weight or like a pressure, like a squeezing sensation, and it's associated with other things like shortness of breath and so on. Diabetics, however, have a particular problem because they have damage to the nerves, and therefore they may not actually experience chest pain at all. If they do, it may not be the typical angina which we would normally expect a patient to describe. Okay? So oftentimes diabetic patients who are having cardiovascular disease will say that, doc, I just feel a little funny sensation in my chest, a little discomfort. I just feel short of breath, or, I'm walking up the stairs, or I'm running after my grandkids and I find that I'm just out of breath.
The rest of the diagnostic process, however, is similar and may include an echocardiogram, ECG, blood works, or various stress tests accessible at public health facilities and at the Heart Foundation of Jamaica. Generally, diabetic patients will have elevated blood sugars in their urine, which, if identified, serves as a red flag and need for more specific testing. A urinalysis or urine dipstick test is generally done as part of school medicals, oftentimes as a screening test for diabetes. As with every illness, early detection and prevention is key to having good health.
It would be good every year for every person to be checked. If you're diabetic, you would have been told how often you need to check your blood sugar by your health professional. But if you're just doing checks and you're healthy otherwise, then at least once a year to check your cholesterol, your sugar, your blood pressure, do your ECG to see if there is any abnormality in the heart.
The treatment of cardiovascular disease in diabetic patients is more holistic, involving lifestyle changes to include diet, exercise, and maintaining a healthy weight.
In a nutshell, we advocate for, eating primarily fruits and vegetables, things like whole grains and nuts, limiting one's intake of fast foods with high fat content, high cholesterol, salt, and so on, and portion size management as well.
More unprocessed foods, less of the very refined high sugar foods. So there are those foods that are obviously very high in sugar. So the typical recommendation, if you look at a plate, half of the plate should be more plant-based foods, leafy vegetables, and some fruit.
In general, 150 minutes minimum per week of moderate exercise such as swimming, brisk walking, jogging or cycling is recommended. Besides the lifestyle changes, clinical treatment through prescription drugs and surgical procedures is an important element in caring for persons with cardiovascular complications of diabetes.
We have medications to address symptoms, we have medications to prolong life. And that forms an important part of the approach. There are a variety of procedures which diabetic patients and other non-diabetic patients may qualify for or it may be necessary to pursue. So we speak of things like stenting, for example, coronary artery bypass grafting, which is, of course, open heart surgery, major surgery. Diabetic patients we have a lower threshold for referring diabetics for that kind of procedure just because of the severity of their disease.
Medications developed primarily for use by diabetic patients have been shown to have significant cardiovascular benefits as they reduce the risk of death and complications related to cardiovascular disease in diabetic patients. But with most of them still under patent, access is quite costly. Your best treatment option is to adopt healthy lifestyle practices that make you less prone to developing diabetes or cardiovascular disease.
Hi, I'm Landy. Welcome to NLA Connect, the National Land Agency's customer engagement platform. NLA Connect is a simple, user-friendly platform designed to help you share your feedback, get support, and updates about land-related matters. Available 24/7, NLA Connect allows you to share suggestions, comments, and commendations, submit queries and report issues, attach files with your requests, track requests and get real-time status updates, connect with NLA client engagement officers, and provide feedback on the service received via the platform. We're making it easier for you to connect with us. You can access NLA Connect via our website, using the kiosk at any of our offices or scanning the QR code displayed at our locations. Need any help along the way? Check out our FAQs section. It has all the answers you need in one location. NLA Connect, your voice, our priority.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please do join us again tomorrow on this same station for more news, features, and information you can use. In the meantime, visit our website at jis.gov.jm for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Until next time, walk good and lend a helping hand where you can in this time of need.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.